Sweet. Good morning, everybody. How are you this morning? Good morning, RV Weekends and Bake a Leg and Shanacraft and Justin and Christina's RV Van Life and Uncle Lisa. Today I got Arizona Insider. Used to be Arizona Small Business Insider. That's how long I've been watching you. And for what made you change it from the small? I've kind of heard, but for everybody else out there, what made you change it from the Small Business Insider to just Arizona Insider?
Yeah, I'll try to give you a long story short. So when I decided to jump into YouTube, the premise or the idea was to interview and create like small business commercials for local small businesses. I just have an affinity for small business, been around it my whole life, and essentially run a small business myself. So I was like, I'll create free commercials, and it allows me to start creating and still do that. But one day I put out a video that was about one of our lakes in Arizona. And it started doing really well through YouTube search, and I saw the analytics behind it. I was like, I need to create more of these. So right. I still do the business videos, but once I started doing all things Arizona, that's when I cut it to just Arizona Insider, and it's a little more catchy, if you ask me.
Yeah, it's a little bit easier to say, and I think it encompasses your channel a little bit better because it allows you to do those things like go to the lake. And Texas Family Camping says, "Sweet, it's Arizona Insider." I love this guy.
Oh, I like Texas Family. I watch a lot of their stuff.
Yeah, and Slow Momentum, Forever Best Friend, Camping Therapy is in here, Weekend RVing, Kristen Hallbrook, and Aaron Jemison, and Gracie 58. So we were talking before, and you've been around the small business your whole life and all that stuff. What businesses did your parents do when you were younger?
Yeah, so my dad, he invented something in our garage in the 90s. And if there's any coffee drinkers out there, I know this community has some coffie drinkers. So if you just a couple, I'm just finishing mine here. But yeah, no. So if you go into it's mostly in Circle K's or 7-Elevens, but you'll see 2, 3, and 4 flavored chilled cream dispensers for coffee. So It's like a soda machine for coffee cream. So that was called Creamerizer Products and was a concept that was founded in my dad's garage in the early 90s. So he got sick of seeing those little cups spilled all over the counter. They're warm. He's like, I want to chill this, make it clean, easy to clean up. So he got about 5 different patents on the concept, and he ran that business from the garage to an international little business in about 12 years time, and actually got bought out and got out of the business in the early 2000s. So that was really cool to see that from literally idea concept to successful business and be a part of it, as a kid. So I look up to my dad, and, he motivates me to get out there and do stuff.
Heck yeah. Good morning, Roy and Becky. They're in Arizona right now. Ava Potterfield, good morning. Evergreen Homestead, Going Green Mom, Alexis Cisnero, nice to see you in here. Had him on a little while back. Traveling Salvation, Will It Grow? And Going Green Mom. Mom made vacuum bags for a printing company, and my dad worked at real estate, which is kind of funny because you also do real estate.
Yeah. So I 2 years ago, I left my 9-to-5 job, which was working for a small business, and got to see them grow, and kind of being a part of that, working for them, kind of motivated me to try to start my own business. And since I didn't have a cool idea, I kind of jumped in the family business and run a real estate practice here in Phoenix.
That's awesome. And Troubadour is here, and they'll be actually on here tomorrow awesome. Morning. And Bake a Leg popped in here. Actually, Forever Best Friend wants to know, do you have any pets?
I do. I can actually, she's here somewhere. I'll when she comes down, I'll introduce everyone. I have a black lab bulldog mix named Lola.
Yeah. I always wanted to whistle like that. I could never do the finger whistle. I could regular whistle, but I could never do the the finger whistle. I could never
It
get
took
it.
me a while to get it.
And hello, Rally. I want to kind of ask you though, um, because I didn't have parents that did entrepreneurial stuff and that kind of stuff. Did it give you, like, going through school and all that kind of stuff? Did it give you a different thought process than some of your peers because you saw your parents make something successful out of just an idea in his head, basically, and become successful at it? Did that change the way that you approached a lot of stuff?
It did. And it might sound cliche, but it gave me the mindset that you can really do anything that you set your mind to. And I have friends that kind of reach out to me for advice, as you will, and I just tell people whatever it is you're doing, business wise, YouTube, just output every day, just output. You got to be doing something, and I'm a firm believer that if you output, it'll come back to you as an input and come full circle. So just constantly be doing something productive, and that's what I do. I create myself a little list every night for the day before, and just conquer that list and do what I got to do.
Yeah, for sure. Bob the Raptor and Joe are in here. My two little Raptor buddies there.
Yeah.
Britain Farm Homestead is in here too. Man, this always jumps. There we go. So when you what made you decide to spark your the YouTube channel? What made you decide to start doing it? Was it watching somebody else and being like, well, I can kind of do that?
You pretty much hit the nail on the head there, Bob. I think, like a lot of us, I spent a lot of time on YouTube watching who knows what video, and just would see whatever channel, and I'm like, man, were able to do that and grow that channel. And I was like, well, if they can do that, I can do that. You just got to start. So watching YouTube motivated me to do it. And I think I do have aspirations to use it for business, whether it becomes monetized or really start featuring my real estate business on there. I just haven't done that yet.
Right. And hello, Gina. Having the real estate business though is probably good for you to do all that video work, because then you don't have to hire that out when you want to do it for showing houses and stuff like that. You can do that work yourself, so it probably helps your business as well.
It does, for sure. And learning it, and I'm kind of one of those guys that I will jump in the deep end real quick. So when I got started, I was loaned a GoPro 4, and a lot of my first videos were on a GoPro 4 that was loaned to me. YouTube videos later and watching how-tos, I started to invest heavily in camera gear and all that, and I've gone a little off the deep end, but I go all in. So I've invested in the camera and the drone and just all the stuff. So I love doing it.
Oh yeah. It starts to become a new obsession, because when you first start out, you're like, oh, this will be all right, and then you start watching other people's stuff now that you know what you're doing, and you're like, no, my camera sucks. I need to get a better editing program because that part sucks too. It's just, and it's all a learning process, unless you come from that background, you don't know until you start.
You're literally saying exactly what happened to me. I mean, I've upgraded this, you name it, the software, the camera, the whatever. I've done it. If I had the means to do it, I've done it. And something kind of cool, one of my videos got discovered by a local medical practice, and I was reached out to help this medical practice create some videos on the side. So I did that for them. So that was a good learning experience as well. But I did learn in that instance, Bob, that I do enjoy making videos and editing them, but not necessarily for other people.
For other people, yeah.
I learned that, I gained experience, and then, I want to just edit my own stuff,
I can understand that. And hello, Sherry Van, just popping in here. And I can understand that. And I had Jason Crocker on, a little while ago, and he's like, I don't want to do corporate work. I enjoy doing it, but I don't. So I hear you with that. But that also is like, I tell people, you never know. The video you put out might not do good, but you don't know what it's going to lead to. You don't know who's going to view it.
Yep.
So somebody could view it and come across it, and it could change your life for the better and all that kind of stuff. And hello, Happy Place. and Sustainably Yours Homestead. Good morning to you as well. And Aaron Jimison, update. You're at 401 now. So you just broke 400 today. So that's awesome.
Appreciate everyone supporting the channel. Thank you.
And you said, I know it was either in Rancis Rogers or in the chat here, because that's where I met you, over there at Matt's channel.
Yep.
I don't know how you came across Matt. Was it just popped up on your feed one day? And
I think Matt and I subscribed to another channel. This guy called, his name's Chris. I don't know his last name, but his channel is called Mafia's Finest TV.
Mm-hmm.
And when I first started, Chris was doing kind of like channel reviews. So I submitted to him in my early days. And I think Matt was a part of that community. And Matt commented on one of my videos, and I went to his, and that's the history wrote. And he's become, like you, one of my strongest YouTube friends and advocates. So I love supporting back, you know, because I know everyone's trying to do this thing. So.
Oh yeah, and he's been, you know, helpful to me, and probably helpful to you in doing a lot of the video stuff. But we were talking in there, and you mentioned that you had a lot of stuff like information for people that are going down to Arizona, places to go with RVs and all that kind of stuff. So you guys are going to definitely want to subscribe to his channel, because he'll have some tips on where to go when we go down there for sure.
I'll make a video for it. And I didn't know if you were going to be asking me specifically. So I pulled up a couple lists. I mean, I would just encourage, you know, any of your family that is going to be heading this way that's not familiar, just shoot me an email. My contact is, you know, on my channel in the About section. And I'm happy to, depending on where in the country they're coming from, recommend different sites and provide the pricing and their website, just all the information to get where they need to go. Because there's a lot of beautiful places to dock an RV in rural Arizona, like so many great places.
Yeah, and that's one thing that gets left out. And since you know it there, that's why I try to tell people, like, if you come to Washington, let me know, and I can send you places that I haven't been on any YouTube videos yet that I know about. So the same way. And hello, Lori's Crochet Corner.
Hey, Lori.
Yeah, people popping in here. What has been the funnest video that you've filmed so far?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'd probably say the one I did on Camelback Mountain, which is a mountain in Phoenix, like a local one right in the heart of Phoenix that I've hiked growing up. And it was just because I've hiked it so many times and been going to it literally since I was like 10 years old as a Boy Scout. And it was just cool to create something forever about that mountain, just because it's kind of like rich in my heart. So that was really cool. And there's some place I've been able to go that I haven't been able to fly my drone because of just, you're too close to an airport. There's local laws you have to adhere to, and I was able to there. So it was really cool to get drone shots of Camelback. It's a staple in Phoenix. Like, it just is. So that was up there on the funnest ones to do.
And that's something I didn't know about. And like driving the truck, like I didn't really know about all the tourist stuff. Like, I've been to Arizona a lot and delivered there and all that kind of stuff, but never really get to explore anything. So that's going to be the really fun part about going around this time. And hello, Quebec Homestead. And I saw, let's see here, K&R popping in. Hello, K&R. I want you to tell, because it was on Rant Wars, but I think it's just an entertaining story. And your wife is now part of the channel, so I want to know what she thought about it when you started it too. Now she's on it, so she probably thinks a little different. But the story of how you finally got engaged and all that kind of stuff, and then what happened recently, because things got a little changed. Plans got changed.
Yeah, they did, and we are still, like, we thought we've decided, but we're still deciding. But long story short, my fiance, we were best of friends since like 2003, and 15 years later, I got out of the proverbial friend zone and finally got engaged, and we, you know, created a life together, got a house together, and proposed March of 19. We're supposed to get married March 20th of 2020. So I'm sure everyone knows what started to happen around then. And so 3 days before our wedding date, our governor essentially called off our wedding for us. and we've since rescheduled till October. But all the guidelines and restrictions here in Arizona haven't really changed. If anything, they've gotten tighter. So it's not official, but I think we're just going to end up having like our closest family, so like 10 to 15 people, as opposed to the almost 200 we had invited initially, which we're both excited. We're going to get married either way, but it's tough when you spend like the last year of your life building up this expectation of what that day is going to be like. And then more for her,
Right.
Like I just, to see how much work and time and effort she put into planning that day, and then it just get ripped out from underneath her. It was tough to see, but we'll get married in October, and we'll go from there. But it stinks. It's unfortunate, but we can't control it. So
yeah,
we're just blessed to be healthy right now, and our family's healthy and safe. So yeah.
What did you think when you started the YouTube channel?
I think at first she was a little kind of like, okay, like not like in a negative way, but she didn't, I don't think she quite realized how much of my time it would end up taking, nor did I.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize how much I would enjoy it, because, I'll sit in front of that computer monitor for like 6 hours, like wired in like a zombie, creating a video. Or I'll be like, hey, where are we going this weekend? We have to shoot a video. And she's like, oh my God, another one. So yeah, she's been able to tag along and have fun with it too, but she supports it. She supports me doing it. And, she went from thinking, okay, whatever. And then once she starts to see it grow a little bit, she's even been like, so where are we going this weekend?
Yeah. And Quebec says, oh my God, I get it. I was all finished planning and then cancel it all by live process moment. We decided to go simple another year. Yeah. Like threw it away. And then Will Grow, he said he went to check you out, and you are a true professional behind that camera.
Thank you, Will Grow. I appreciate it.
And editing is a lot of work. I know the zombie feeling is what Texas family said.
It is. I enjoy the editing process. Parts of it can be mundane, but that's where you get to be, that's where the creative muscle comes. And I've told people through YouTube journey that, like, I think that's part of the reason why I like it so much, because I never played an instrument or was never an artist. So I never really was creative. So now for the first time, I'm exercising this like proverbial like creative muscle, and it's so much fun.
Well, and that's something like you probably didn't think of it, coming from your parents' background. Oh, I just, I'll start a business, I'll do this, and never looked at the creative aspect of it. But to run a business, you have to be creative, because stuff's going to happen that you aren't prepared for.
You're so spot on. And I even think, like, so my folks, or I'll just talk my dad specifically, like, he's a huge supporter of mine and love him, but he's very like old school, black and white. So when I started spending time with him, he's like, well, why are you doing that? He kind of like professionally questioned it all the time. I'm like, well, it's fun. I enjoy doing it. And eventually it's going to lead to business, Dad. So that's why I'm doing it.
Right.
So,
do they kind of understand now more that you've gotten more subscribers, and kind of understand that there's an audience that can help your business as well?
Yeah, he has. And I think as and my dad doesn't really do any sort of marketing, any digital marketing for his business up there. He's got such a huge referral. I mean, he doesn't need to. So he doesn't really see the need for it. But here in Phoenix, like, quite possibly one of the most competitive real estate markets in the whole country. So you got to stand out. And video is a very powerful way to do it. So I'm going to slowly start incorporating more Arizona / real estate videos, or just Arizona. Like, I can attract people to Arizona, get them interested. I can be their resource to relocate and, purchase a home here. Yep.
Will Girl says, how do you put one of those introduction videos on your homepage? You just got to go in the channel settings, I think, and it's under the featured video.
Oh yeah. And I want to update mine, but yeah, that's how you do it. And it'll, depending on if you've never been to the channel, like if you've never visited my channel, you'll know, you'll see that one. Or if you're returning, you can select a different video for returning people.
Yep, for sure. What has been a video that you thought was going to be better, and then when you got it done, you're like, oh man, The idea was great, but the video just, it doesn't work.
Yeah, that was so another one of my lake videos was the one I created for Canyon Lake, and it didn't come out bad, but when I go outside and hike and go to these lakes or wherever I'm going, I really like to fly the drone. It really adds a whole nother effect to the video. And when we went to the lake, it was like 4 weeks ago. Just prior, there was a huge brush fire here in rural Arizona, the Tonto fire. It burned almost like 80,000 acres. Anyways, because of that fire was going on or it just finished, there was drone regulation. I couldn't fly my drone. There's a software that I use on my phone to control it, and it wouldn't let me take off. So I was super disappointed to not get drone shots that day. So when I made that video, it didn't just quite come out the way I wanted it to. So I was a little bummed.
Yeah. Yeah. And Roy and Becky says, we checked into Arizona in January and haven't been able to check out. It's like Hotel California.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Arizona gets hot for, I can conservatively say 4 months, but realistically closer to 5. 4 months. 4 months is real hot, but the other 8 months, we have perfect climate. We really do. Cost of living's not bad. It is going up like most places, but compared to the rest of the country, our cost of living's, including property taxes, is very affordable.
Yeah. So what has been one of the coolest places that you ended up listing and selling? Has there been some that you'd like to own yourself? Like, that'd be a really cool house. I hope it gills up one day when I can afford it.
I haven't listed like these like a really cool big house. I don't deal with the luxury market, or at least I would if it came my way. But I had a listing last summer in the heart of Phoenix in a district called Sunny Slope. So it's a older neighborhood, and it was a really interesting house. And I say this because the location is not the best. So a couple times I went to go check on the property before a showing. I had people squatting in it and doing drugs, and was caught off guard. I went in to check on it. Right when I opened the door, there was a guy standing there, his motorcycle in the living room. So they found a way to get into the house, set up a place to hang out, and there was definitely, some bad stuff going on in there. So we had to call the authorities and get them out, and it was just scary. And that house was built in like 1930, I believe.
Wow.
So an older home. It was classified as a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, but it was really just like one big room with like hallways. So, my dad always says, I'm like, Dad, this house is going to be so hard to sell. And he's like, you're in Phoenix and every ass has a seat. He's like, there's a buyer for it. And he's like, he was true. It took a little bit longer than the average because the house was so unique, but there was a guy for that house. He's like, I love it. I've grown up in this area. Like, the dots connected. And especially with the challenges with the squatters and how old it was, I was being a little pessimistic, and I shouldn't have been, because it ended up working out, and the guy that ended up buying it loved it. So
right. Well, I think that's because he's been doing it so many years, right? A lot of years doing it. He knows that everybody's got their own individual taste. So, something that you think is ugly, somebody else is going to go, that's the most awesome thing I've ever seen. Same with colors too, because people can see the same color 2 different ways.
And it's funny you mentioned the color part, Bob, because the house was yellow. Yeah. Very non-traditional house color. Maybe in the country, but definitely in Arizona, you don't see a lot of yellow houses.
Yeah. What has been your experience so far on YouTube been like? Has it been mostly positive? Have you had to deal with a lot of negativity, or?
No, I feel like I've been lucky because a lot of the folks in my community are super supportive. So it's I haven't had any negativity, or I haven't come across any trolls, I don't think. So I enjoy every minute of it and spend a lot of time on there, I think, like most of us, and look forward to these lives and watching your next interview, and get real excited to go out and shoot and create a video.
Yeah, that's one thing I've been missing, is going out and shooting and creating, because there's a difference. It still ends up being the same amount of time for me, because preparing for these or going out and shooting, but just the creativity that you can do with shooting and figuring out different shots, it really exercises your mind a lot more, for sure. How long have you had your drone Because you got it because of the channel. How long have you had it and been flying it? And what kind do you have?
I actually had the drone before the channel. I upgraded the drone because of it, though. So there's the brand of drone is DJI. So anybody that's interested in getting into the drone space, I highly recommend DJI products. But I started out with like a beginner drone, and just wanted to get a little bit smoother shot, better camera quality. So once I started creating these videos, I then upgraded the drone. So I've been flying a drone for about, I don't know, a year and a half before starting YouTube. And it was weird. You'd think flying a drone a year and a half, 2 years ago, I'd be like, oh, I should put some videos on YouTube. But it never crossed my mind. I just was shooting the videos and watching them on my phone that I'd fly the drone. I never thought to do anything on YouTube with it. So
so you were already making stuff to entertain yourself video wise before you even really got into it.
Yeah, just like stuff with the family, like we'd go sledding and I'd fly the drone out there and, watch everyone sledding and then come back and show everyone,
Yeah. And yeah. Quebec, enjoy that after chopping wood, going in the pool. And you probably don't have much time up there to use the pool either, especially if it's an outdoor pool.
My pool is almost like bath water right now. There's like a 6-week window where it's like it's not even refreshing. It's so hot.
Yeah. I down there, I'd imagine a lot of the year you probably don't even have to use the pool heater either.
Oh no, never. I mean, when in the winter time in Phoenix, the water does get cold, but yeah, you just don't really swim in the winter really. Like the pool season, in my opinion, starts like May and runs through like almost the end of October. So that downtime, and you just keep your chemicals right, and it just kind of hangs out there. But there are people here that heat their pools for the wintertime. I just would rather pay for that electric. So
right. What's some videos that you want to go shoot? Like now that you're doing more than the small business and that kind of stuff, like where are places that you want to go and do shots at?
Yeah, I want to go to the Grand Canyon. I've been there a handful of times just living here, but I want to go create a Grand Canyon video. There's a real notorious hike. I don't know if you have a Havasupai Falls or have a Havasupai hike. You got to book it like a year in advance. I wouldn't be able to drone, but I would love to create a video of the waterfalls. So anybody that hasn't heard of it, just Google Havasupai Falls. And it's one of the most breathtaking places to go. And then I want to go to the southern parts of Arizona. There's a bunch of places down there that I'd like to film, like Karchner Caverns, various different lakes, Mount Lemmon. I mean, the list goes on. There's so many places in Arizona to go. The Salt River Canyon. There's an old mining town called Bisbee, which is probably about 4 hours south of Phoenix. But it's a really cool old mining town from like the 1920s. Mm-hmm. People live there. It's still an active mine. And just a really cool town that the world needs to see. So that's on the list as well.
There's a lot of stuff that I want to see down there. Like I want to go to the crater too.
Meteor crater. Yeah.
Because I've seen pictures of that, and I know from the pictures, especially now that I've done filming, that seeing it in person is probably breathtaking to see a mile across hole in the ground from a rock hitting the earth.
It's huge. And it's just outside of Flagstaff, which is only about 2 hours north of Phoenix or north of where I live. But for everyone that is RVing through Arizona, they do have a RV dock by Meteor Crater. So you could post up for a night and go check it out.
Interesting. Yeah. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Who were some of the people that you like some of the bigger YouTubers that you watched before you started your channel?
I started watching, so there's some local Arizona YouTubers. One guy, his name's Jeff. I don't know him personally, but his name's Jeff, and his channel is called Living in Arizona. And he just talks about living here. He's got a pretty big following, him. And then there's another guy, Aaron Childs. He's similar to mine. He does a lot of small business showcase called Journey Maps, live and local. He does all local businesses. And then big ones, I don't even know if I could recall names, but just any type of really well-edited travel channel, like travel videos, which is kind of in essence of the other videos I do about Arizona. They're travel videos. And I can't really mention any of the big names. I don't know them that well, but any of those big travel channels have motivated me to create these videos.
Yep. And Koneman Studio says to do solar heating for the pool. Well, down there, I think the sun just naturally heats the pools without even having to add anything. But I guess is there the solar heating, is that like a cover that you can put on?
You might be referring to like I was referring to not wanting to pay the electric to heat the pool.
Oh, okay.
People put panels on their pool equipment and run their pool equipment off solar power. So that way it could be a cheaper way to, heat it up in the winter. But
yeah, because solar down there is a very viable option. More so than up here in Washington, because we're so far north. Yeah. Besides how cloudy it is, so far north that it doesn't have as much sun as you guys do down there for a lot of the year.
Yeah, solar's growing like crazy. And last year, from 19 to 20, they changed the solar regulations to not be in the homeowner's favor as much. So it slowed down a little bit, but there's a lot of homes with solar, especially if you, like, for example, so Danielle, my fiance, the house that she owned before we got together, when she bought it, it already had panels on it. So the previous owner bought and paid for the panels, which is amazing. So her electric bill in the summer was like $20, and that is cranking the AC, where if you're on the grid, cranking the AC at 75, you're going to, depending on the size of your house, your bill is going to be $300 to $600, depending on the size of your house. And $15 is all solar. She essentially had free electric the whole time she lived there.
Right. Yeah. And then I would imagine in the wintertime, probably no electric bill, or they end up sending you like a rebate if it's hooked into the grid.
They do, because their solar companies will essentially sell the power to the big companies here in the valley.
Yeah.
So that's what they do. And we've looked into it. It's still like, you can lease the panels, you can buy the panels, and ideally we'd like to buy them. It's just not something we're going to pull the trigger on at this point.
Right. What's the next upgrade that you want to get for your channel? Is it a different camera? Is it a better editing computer? Like,
I think it's so when I upgraded my camera shortly after, I upgraded the lens. But the lens I upgraded to doesn't zoom. So I want that brand, a Sigma lens that also zooms. The kit lens that the camera came with allows me to zoom, but the upgraded lens it's such a better image. But I can't zoom with it. I can just focus it. So, but that lens I think it's like almost $600, the one I want. So I'm going to hold off for a little bit. I've make do with what I have.
Yeah. It's, you get into it and you're like, well, I want to get this that does this and this does that. And I look at it, and maybe you do too, is any equipment you get, look towards being able to use it in the future with other equipment you might get. Yeah. So whether your tripod or whatever, you want to look to your next upgrade so that you don't have to upgrade a bunch of stuff at once.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I was looking at too, because I've been trying to do lives once a week where Danielle and I talk about Arizona, is just, the mics that people have for their computers. Like, like Matt uses like that nice Yeti mic. I've looked into those. So that's actually probably before the lens. And I think that would be, because those aren't as expensive. Like I think one's like $50 and really good ones are like, sky's the limit, but that would probably be next upgrade.
I just use my shotgun mic and have it plugged in and sitting up. So that's what I use. But because you learn really quickly that ironically, audio is the most important thing in video, more so than what the video looks like.
So true.
You could have the best looking video, and if it's full of wind noise or crackly sound, people turn it off.
Yeah. Well, I think about I did a video for a local furniture auction. This was when I had the GoPro, and I had bought an external mic for it, which I don't think it really did that much. It helped a little bit. I bought a gimbal for that GoPro, but when I shot that video just with that GoPro, there was so much background noise going on. It killed it. And I thought the video came out pretty good, but the audio, you could hear the person I was interviewing well, and you could hear me well, but it was just picking up so much junk in the background. So lapel mics would have made that video 10 times better. But you live and you learn.
Oh yeah. That's one thing that it just takes that the experience of doing it.
Yeah.
To know I need this, I need that. Because when you first start out, you don't understand all that. You don't understand the different mics for different purposes and all that kind of stuff. And it just takes that practice. And hello, nursing our travel bug. What is one thing you would suggest to people that are starting out, like maybe a mistake you made when you were first starting out to avoid?
I think I don't even know if it'd be maybe a mistake, but don't worry about or have fear of what people on the internet are going to think of your videos. Like, and I know that's probably easier said than done, but if you can just get over that and just put a video out without worrying about judgment, like, I think you're going to be just fine moving forward, because every video you create is going to get better. So if you can not worry about, and I think initially that was some of my fears, like worrying about what people think. And maybe it's not the people that I didn't know, but maybe the people that were in my sphere already, like sharing it on Facebook and on social media channels, worrying about what these people think. And I'm like, well, who cares? Like, it's hard to get over, but that video's in their feed, hopefully they click on it, and then within an hour it's gone forever, So just get over that fear.
And I always find that funny, because everybody has that fear. And then within a week or two, you're like, why aren't people watching my video? You're so afraid of people watching it and what they're going to think. And then you're like, why aren't people watching it? So it just such a quick flip from being worried about it.
Yeah. And I think that is, and that's what's great about YouTube. But it also tells you how you can get better, because the analytics are powerful. And you'll see a video that has, an average view duration of X, and then one that's like down here, and it's like, oh, got to get better.
Yeah. Well, you can also use that to figure out, though, where you need to improve. Like you can go on your video and go, okay, if it's average this time, let's look at the minute before, minute after, basically, and see why, if I'm watching this as a watcher, why would I click off at this point? And so it's really helpful for that if you take the numbers and do that with them instead of beating yourself up with them.
100%. Yeah, I agree 100%.
What has been your most enjoyable part about being on YouTube so far?
It's just meeting people. Like I think about the way I operate as a professional in real estate. Like I'm a member of a couple local networking groups. So I get together with, professionals weekly and get to know each other and pass business and networking. So it's just been networking, meeting all the cool people in different parts of the country and the world, for that matter. And like building these virtual relationships is it's been probably my favorite part. Yeah.
And Sustainably Yours says, I haven't really tapped into my personal sphere of family and friends because they're worried about it, but do it, because they can come across it on YouTube anyway. If they watch YouTube, they can come across you one day. So
yeah. I also, to Sustainably Yours' comment there, when I first started, I had started a Facebook, way back when, and was on and off of it. And you didn't ask me, but sometimes I get so sick of reading the junk on there. So I would turn my Facebook off, and I wouldn't be on it for years. And I loved it. But once I started this YouTube thing, I'm like, oh man, I think I need to start leveraging Facebook and create one for the channel, post stuff on my personal page. So my Facebook was off maybe for 2.5, 3 years, whatever it was. And I turned it back on just so I could start sharing videos. And I was a little reluctant the firI'm like, I don't even see half these people anyway, so whatever.
Yeah. And hello, Vanderella. It's kind of funny because you like what you're saying, you don't see a lot of people. You end up seeing more on YouTube, more of other YouTubers than you do of some family that you know most of your life. So
yeah, 100%. And it was cool when you share them and to see, people in your network, on your social networks, whatever, like reach out to these businesses I created videos for and buy their product or service. So like it worked, like, and they, none of the videos went viral, but most of the businesses I created videos for got business, which is cool.
Yeah. And Uncle Lisa, thank you for that. I'm gonna try. I'll adjust them. I got another live this afternoon, or not this afternoon, this evening, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 Eastern. So I'll adjust them after here. If you want to come in and then let me know how you think they look later today. Hello, Chasing America, and that's the difference, right? If somebody is willing to give constructive criticism that you can take rather than just saying you suck, it's a whole different ball of wax. So
100%. And I think just kind of to that notion too, Bob, like putting it out there, and if you can get that constructive criticism and feedback, it's only going to help you improve. So run with it.
Yeah. And that's what I asked you guys for, is like, I want to know because you're there in the chat and you and how you see it. So I'm going to adjust it to make it look better. And hello, Lori's Way. What would you tell people that are thinking about coming to Arizona? Some things that they should be ready for that they might not know from never being there.
I think one thing is a lot of people don't quite understand is how spread out we are. So, everyone thinks Arizona, you think Phoenix, but all the suburbs like Scottsdale, sorry.
It's all good.
Just barking, someone at the door or a delivery. But is how spread out it is. So depending on what you know about Arizona, what you have planned and where you're staying, more than likely you're going to be traveling within major Phoenix at least 30 minutes to most destinations because we're so spread out. We don't go up, we go out. So is the travel within Phoenix, and most people don't quite realize that. And then some people underestimate the heat depending on where you're coming from, especially if you're coming during July, August. The heat can get you. But it is a dry heat. It is a dry heat. So it's not like it's 100 degrees at 70% humidity. It's 110 with no humidity.
Right. Yeah, I mean, even here it's 71, but I still have 61% humidity.
Yeah.
So
curious what we are.
Yeah. That's the one thing about down south, man. It's so humid there, and then they get up to those 90s and 100s, and you feel like you're walking in a sauna. So yeah. If it was 62% humidity at 100 degrees, you're sweating for sure.
Yeah, and it's 9:45, so we are the hottest part of the day. So we are in a heat advisory starting yesterday through Sunday. And if you look at 4 o'clock, I don't know if you can see it, but we're supposed to hit 115 at like 2 or 3 o'clock today. So it's going to keep getting hotter.
Oh yeah. When it gets into the 90s here, it's hot enough for me because all that. And Going Green Mom says they wound up with an impromptu channel review Tuesday and definitely using it to tweak my thumbnails and such. And that's the thing, like, you still want to make it you, but take the little pieces that people from the outside are telling you and kind of adjust it, because like we were saying earlier, people have different tastes or like your dad says, there's an ass for every seat. I kind of like that one. What did you because you went into real estate, is that the only thing that you've done business wise?
I mean, my like professional career before real estate, I was always in a sales position. So I did like 5 or 6 years where I sold online advertising to small businesses, and then I sold marketing software to small business. So like 1 to 50 employee businesses. So I sold them advertising or sold them this software that helped them automate their processes. And then my last stop before I got into real estate full time was a local staffing company, small business that I worked for about 4 years, where we worked with local school districts to help them staff.
Right. Was there anything that you took from your time and those things into your business that you do now? Things that you didn't want to do with other maybe the employees that you have, how they did it and how you want to do it?
Yeah, I think so. My last position, I mean, I don't want to go into grave detail, but it's the only time I've been presented with a a huge pay cut or the door. So I essentially got laid off, and this is when I was doing real estate on the side part-time. So that when that happened, that kind of forced me to do real estate full time. And I know it's a business and there's business decisions and it's, there's numbers behind it, but there was a certain part of the way things were handled that they lost the human touch. And I get needing for them to cut pay and let me go, but they lost sight of the human touch that, the way they handled it and the way they essentially let me go it's kind of disheartening, and it kind of rubbed me the wrong way, and I got over it. But keeping the human touch for sure when you're in business, there's always a human on the other end. So you got to be cognizant of that. Yeah. And then just with sales I sell real estate and sales in general, and even outside of sales is follow up is king. You got to follow up with people relentlessly. If you're trying to sell a service or a product, you have to follow up on that person. Average person takes about 8 to 12 touches before they buy something. So meaning if you're shopping for a new TV, it could take the average person 8 to 10 times to see that TV or information about that TV until they're ready to swipe their credit card. So you have to follow up. You got to stay top of mind for people. So, and that's kind of like YouTube. When you're growing a channel, I think the follow up in YouTube is creating more videos and more content. I only do once a week really. And I wish I can do more, but I wish I could drop a fully edited video 4 days a week. And that's that follow-up. You're more top of mind for your audience. So follow-up is king. It is.
Yeah. And good morning, 1 million mile road trip. And I also look at that when you're posting that much is you have people that log on to YouTube different days too. And like you're saying, it's about that first hour or 2 hours. And then if it doesn't do good, it's basically gone off the feed. So the more you're posting, the more chance you have those videos to get seen.
Yeah. And I think most feeds and algorithm works that way. The channels that I regularly visit, are regularly in my feed. And that's because they're more regularly posting videos. So the algorithm adjusts to that. And I also if there's channels that don't pop up in my feed regularly, I'll just search them and go see what they've done lately. But constantly putting up that good content, whether it's lives or videos, you're going to stay fresh, and even just your subscribers feeds, let alone that'll allow you to get recognized by, in the scroll feature or whatever.
Oh yeah. And 1 million mile road trip, I am using StreamYard.
Mm-hmm.
But the paid version of it, you can take the little duck off the corner, and there's a couple other things you can do. So
I like
it. Yeah, and Will Grow, he does 4 a week, and it's time consuming. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So what is was there amount of subscribers that you got to that you said, okay, I'm on to something, I think I can make this work?
I don't know. I wouldn't even say it was maybe the subscriber count. I think it was that Bartlett Lake video I created, the first non-business video. And when I saw the analytics, and I still go back to it, it regularly gets views. It's top of search for Bartlett Lake AZ. And when you see that out of the views, 75% of the views from that video were from search. And that's when it clicked for me. I was like, okay, people are actively searching for Arizona content. They're not actively searching for necessarily some of these businesses because they didn't know they existed. But when I saw the search analytics, that's when I was like, I'm on to something. So that's when I really tried to refocus, creating Arizona videos, still doing the business ones. But when I do the business ones, creating a quality thumbnail and keeping the description super detailed so it can also get found in search. That way, if someone's looking for X business in Arizona, I can show them that, that business.
Yeah. And that's one thing I'm going to work on. I hadn't really put too much in the description. I would just basically copy and paste the standard one with my hashtags and links and stuff like that. But I hadn't thought about putting too much written stuff down in the description. But when you learn that that's part of how the search works, is it looks in the description for the keywords.
Yeah.
It's something else you got to do along with your thumbnails and everything else. It's all the little detail stuff that nobody really that lets you know when you first start out how important it is.
Yeah, I mean they're all connected, and I think about that time where I was selling software. It was online advertising I was selling, so you're helping businesses get found, and most people might know it, but YouTube is the #1 used search engine behind Google, and Google owns YouTube. So if you're searching on Google, people are searching on YouTube. So like real detailed descriptions, great titles, and I'll even after I type out my description, Bob, at the end, I'll just start typing more words that are like Phoenix, Arizona, lake, and I'll just add more words, more keywords to that search, just so it's just rich, keyword rich, they call it.
Okay.
That way, little spiders go out when someone's searching, you have a better chance of getting found.
Awesome. See, that stuff I didn't know, so you're helping me. You're helping me out. And Rants with Rogers is in here. Matt. Two of my favorites in one place. Pinch me, I'm dreaming. And Van Vita, she just changed her name to Van Vita Travels. I like it. That's interesting.
Nice. Nothing like a little rebranding.
Yep.
Yeah, I like your channel name is it's perfect, especially the way you spelled adventure. It's
well, we can talk about that. I basically had to force YouTube to finally pop me up. It took 1,000+ subscribers before you could type Bob's Adventure into the search in YouTube and pull my channel up without saying, "Oh, did you mean this other one first?" and pop up the adventure spelled the right way. So I did it the hard way getting here.
Hey, but that's that. I mean, yeah, it paid off. It's just to see you grow the way you have it's been pretty cool.
Yeah. And do you guys ever run ads? I have ad credits for Google from GoDaddy. I haven't yet, but you have experience doing that. So what would you say? What would you say about those?
Yeah, I do it for some of my videos. I definitely but like even the video I just put out yesterday about Anthem, Arizona, I allotted $15 of Google ads. So I'm running a Google campaign for it that I'm trying to push the video into California because we get a lot of people from California moving here. So if I can showcase my listing, how beautiful Arizona is, and running Google ads it's pretty simple, and it also provides you analytics, and you can get so hyper focused with who you want your video to show up to. It's amazing. And same thing with Facebook boosting ads. If you do it in Facebook, the cost, my opinion, is a lot lower, but you typically don't want to boost a YouTube linked video in Facebook. Facebook is a separate platform. When you're putting YouTube videos on Facebook and someone clicks it, now that person's leaving Facebook. Facebook doesn't like that. So if you're going to boost a video on Facebook, I would say just embed the actual video file, the actual MP4 video file, and then put a link to the video to YouTube, in a comment below. But if you're boosting that actual video file, it's going to do a lot better on Facebook as opposed to a YouTube link.
Interesting.
Yeah, because Facebook doesn't like when you take people off their website.
So I might have to have you back once a month to answer questions from people for how to do the advertising stuff, since you're experienced in it.
I can show folks how to do it in Google, because when you're setting up the YouTube ads, you're technically setting up in Google,
right?
The same company. So you have I've got my
your AdSense account and then you just buy the ad through there and say you want to run it, and then it does it run it. It runs it basically as an ad you'd see on somebody else's video, right?
Yeah, so you can even pick. So I've done a lot of A/B testing with it. So one of my Arizona videos, I was like, hey, I want to have this ad show up on all these other channels that I follow. So Living in Arizona, Arizona Living, whatever they are, and I wanted to have it placed there. And actually, that video ad did not do that well showing up on those channels.
Right.
So now, like the one today, I target it for real estate and pick the area where I want it to go. And those do a lot better, and I categorize it as real estate for the real estate videos. Mm-hmm. And then if I boost just like one of the travel videos about Arizona, I'll have the ad show up to travel channels. Because those people are looking for that, so it shows up like people that are into that type of video.
Right.
And you can boost a video for a pretty small investment and get a ton of traction.
Right. And Rancis Rogers says the views and hours won't count toward your watch hours, probably on the ad, but if they click through, doesn't that count on your stuff?
See, I'm not sure about the hours. That's something I should research. I'm glad he brought that up. I mean, the views credit, it pulls up in my analytics. But one thing I have noticed with the videos that I do boost, the watch time average is lower for whatever reason.
Okay.
And then maybe that goes to my video. They need to be better. So
maybe. Hello, Nomad Unbroken, and will it grow? No, I still love you, man. Why would you say that? I don't even understand. I don't even understand what's going on. If I missed it, I didn't mean to miss it. So put it back in there. But no, you're fine. And hello, Lynn the Okie. Saw you popped in here. Yeah. So she says I'll start on Google then because it won't cost anything because you got the credits. I mean, yeah, if you got it,
Well, it wouldn't hurt too if they have a business Facebook page for your channel. Like start a business page. It's free. Facebook will give you a free $10 credit to boost it, and that $10 goes miles on Facebook. If just so you get an idea, but real small amounts. Like if you're wanting to kind of grow your channel a little quicker, it's a good way to do it because Google's going to put your video in front of people. So
right, and I'm probably going to do that here eventually. I'm thinking about once I have a laptop, maybe cutting up a lot of my interviews and just making like a 2-minute thing of different interviews, and then have that be, and then put that in front of like podcast YouTube channels or something like that.
That's a great idea. Great idea.
So,
yeah.
And hello, Papa Mozo. Ransom Starter says Google doesn't want people to be able to buy their way to monetization. Oh, so it doesn't count the watch time, but it's still good to get your name out there. Yeah. And that's the thing is like I'm probably until I have my watch time, I'm not going to worry about it too much. But I am going to be starting doing it probably on Facebook next month. Just a little buy just to see what I can get out of it and have an experience doing it so I can learn.
Yeah, for sure. And I like to Matt's point, that's a good point that you're not getting the watch time, but I guess as small as my channel is, I'm just trying to gain some additional exposure, and monetization is just like I'm not even really I'm not even worried about it right now,
Right. I wasn't worried about it till I got 1,000 and then okay, now I can
yeah.
Now it's possible. I just have to get the watch time now. Because until I hit 1,000, it's hard for you, or I would say it's smart for you not to think about it until it's a possibility, because then you're not gonna get too far ahead of put the cart in front of the horse, I guess I should say.
Yeah.
You're gonna, and I think it's better just to work on things until you get there too,
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think I would love it if my channel grew to like 10,000 subscribers and it was like one of the like core Arizona channels, but we got a ways to go.
Yeah. Yep. And Uncle Lisa, I can adjust how many lines of chat are between each bot post. So that's what I'm going to do. I have them set on like 15-minute timers and stuff like that. So I'm going to play with it and adjust it and we'll see. But yeah, if you guys want to go over and raid Roy and Becky's travels here in a second, got about a couple of minutes left. How would you sell your channel to people that are coming in here late? What would you tell them to go check you out and what you got going on?
Yeah, I mean, my kind of pitch or tagline is I'm all things Arizona. So from things to do, places to go, and local businesses, which my opinion, that's all the things you need to know about. I just got to create more videos of that, but that's the premise. If you want to know about Arizona, where you can go, the things you can do, and all the cool local small businesses we have, you'll find that info on Arizona Insider.
For sure. For sure. Awesome. Well, I'll see you guys tomorrow. I got True Video tomorrow and I got Ridge Life on Saturday. So I will see you guys tomorrow. And till then, or I'll see you later today if you want to come and hang out with me. But stop waiting for life to happen and make life happen. Later, guys. Play the outro video if I can get it.
Thanks for having me, Bob. Appreciate your friend.
Yeah, thank you for coming on.